and that's head coach Jim Morrissey at Holy Cross. Coach, if you could give us an opening statement. First off, congratulations on entering your first full-time season at Holy Cross as the head coach.
Thank you very much. Definitely honored to be part of this great league. Had a real strong taste of the Patriot League last year, and obviously some great teams, great coaches, and I think our league competes at the highest level in our country. So definitely looking forward to this season. Holy Cross, we had a great fall season. We really had an emphasis on strength weight room. My first game last year as a head coach was against Coach Meade at Navy, and it was an 8-3 loss for us. But when the horn sounded, my first thing that came to me is we need to hit the weight room. There's some strong teams, obviously, physically in our league, and we just aren't there. But we spent 3 days in the weight room this fall, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, really getting after it. Guys bought into it. We can compete at a higher level in practice, which hopefully translates to our spring season. 10 solid seniors. 4 of those seniors are offensive midfielders who I have a lot of faith in. They've been in some battles through the years. Looking at those guys to really step it up. Colin McGeehan's a 4-year starter at the midfield. Andrew Morrissey, another senior midfielder. Matt Boylan, as well as Nick Rebecki, who might be our best athlete, who missed mostly of last year due to concussion. He's another strong senior midfielder. Looking for those guys to really step it up and lead this team. Our guys come up with 3 goals for the year, which I think are very attainable. I think it's a good step for our program for our guys to lay out what they think they can do. And obviously, number 1 goal is for Holy Cross to play 4 quarters of every game and give ourselves a chance to win come 4th quarter. And as long as we're in games, having a chance to win, I think that's proved very beneficial to us as we move forward as a program and as I move forward as a coach. Just need that big game experience and having the confidence that we can play at the Division I level and play at the highest level. Had enough of the 11-2 losses and 13-5 losses. We're going to lose. We're going down swinging right to the very end. I think our guys showed that last year at the end of the season. We battled an outstanding Army team right to the very end, right to the 4th quarter, and that's the type of level I want to get this program and make it a consistent program. And that's our number 2 goal is to have a winning season. We're very difficult schedule. Everybody's got a difficult schedule in D1. There's a very small margin for error, and I stress that to our guys every day. So we got to do the extra conditioning, the extra weight room, and focus on the little things that are going to get us to a 4-quarter battle in Division I lacrosse. And I tell the guys the first game of the first season is just as tough as the last game of that season as well. So trying to stress that, trying to create a lot of depth, and I let our guys know, if a winning season is possible, but it's going to take taking it 1 game at a time and a lot of focus and a lot of intensity. So, and our final goal, obviously, we just want to make the Patriot League tournament. We've never done that here. We've never had more than 1 win in a league season here. So just trying to sneak in, get that 3rd win, and the Patriot League could possibly get us into that 4th spot. That's our goal. That's what we're going to try to do this season. So, if anybody has any questions.
Coach, this is James again at the Patriot League. My first question for you is just give us a sense of the difference in your off-season, just in what you had to do. Obviously last year entering the off-season and then entering last season as an assistant coach, and then this year, obviously things different. You're the head coach. You're the main voice on the sidelines now. Just talk a little bit about the difference maybe in the approach that you had to take because of the transition in your role into this season.
Yeah, I think that the first thing that I stressed was being organized and letting the guys know what to expect. I laid out the whole fall schedule for them. We're lifting these 3 days. We're practicing these days at these times. They're set in stone. Get to know it, get to understand it, and early on, I had some of the seniors, call me. Practice at 5:30. Yeah, look at the schedule. So, started to feel at ease a little bit, first couple weeks that, this is a schedule. So instead of trying to figure out when practice is going to be, if we're lifting today, if we're not lifting today, stuck to our plan. And I wrote them right out to that very last day possible of training. And I think they liked that, and they pushed each other. got a little monotonous after a while. We tried to mix it up with some off-training stuff. And I think, building up the freshmen was a key component of that, and building the leadership qualities in our guys. And I think the difference is just making sure the guys understood what was ahead and stick to that plan and go at it hard.
Coach, this is James Greene again at the Patriot League. Talk a little bit about your schedule. To start with your first 4 out of 5 away from Worcester. The only home game you have in that opening stretch is February 28th against Harvard, and then you're not home again until March 10th against Colgate for your first league game. Just talk about what you, as the head coach, what you're hoping to see out of your club in those first 5 games before you get into league play.
Yeah, we're pretty familiar with our first 2 opponents as we've played St. John's and Hartford the past couple of years in the same weekend initially. So I feel, they've been in those games before with these guys. Going on the road is obviously tougher than being at home, but, any Division I game these days, it's a battle, whether home or away. We're just looking for the challenge to play a great St. John's team from the Big East, and obviously Hartford with a great run in the tournament last year, league tournament, to make an NCAA bid. So 2 great opponents to give us a good test where we are. We're focused on that first game at St. John's to really come out with a lot of depth, a lot of speed, a lot of hustle, a lot of conditioning, and endurance to get us through a tough Division I game so we can kind of set the stage for the rest of the year. Obviously, Harvard is our first home game on February 28th. That'll be a tough game. They're stacked right now, so but we had a pretty good game against them last year, so these aren't really unfamiliar teams. We have competed with them in the past. Not necessarily great last year, but this year we're looking to take another step and really, make our presence known right out of the gate. Obviously, Colgate's coming in March 10th, first Patriot League game, so we do have a pretty rough schedule before that game, but everybody's got a tough schedule, so there's no gimmies in this division, as everybody knows, the coaches know, and it's just one game at a time, and respect your opponent, and try to, have depth. My feeling has a lot of depth, and because you never know what's going to happen, and just try to, one game at a time and do the best you can every game.
Thanks, Coach. Any questions from our media members who are on the call with us for head coach Jim Morrissey at Holy Cross?
Coach Morrissey, this is Casey Bach from Inside Lacrosse. I'm just wondering if you can hear me.
I can hear you perfect, Case.
All right, great. I just would like to know what kind of an impact do you think bringing on a guy like Thomas Guadagnolo can have in terms of, getting your players to see themselves being able to accomplish the things that you know that they can accomplish, but sort of like needing to get over that hurdle like you've indicated. How can he help them sort of visualize it and help that come to fruition?
Yeah, Thomas has been a great addition so far. He's fresh off of some 4 years of big-time Division I lacrosse at the highest level, so everything's fresh in his mind, the intensity needed to prepare. Sometimes I feel like wish I could throw the pads on him and get him out there and show him the guys how to do it. And he's into it. He's a good lacrosse mind. He learned from some great coaches at Syracuse, and he's definitely into it 100%. He questions me at times. He brings up different things. He's not afraid to speak up, which is great. He's much more mature for just being out of college. 1 year out of college, so the guys respect him, and he strings a really great lacrosse stick.
Thank you.
Hey, Jim, this is Eddie Tamanis at USA Today. How you doing?
Good, Eddie. How you doing?
All right. You talked about this a little bit, I kind of indirectly, but going back to your playing days, which some of us are old enough to remember, you know what it's like to be a part of a successful program, and what kind of things have you brought from that? Just kind of have you just kind of taken trying to see what works as a coach and try to get the Holy Cross program to take that next step? How are you kind of doing that?
First of all, again, planning out and the guys know, what's ahead of them in terms of, the weekly schedule, the practice schedule, let them know what they trying to have a real good, fast-paced practice, mix up the drills, always try to make it difficult for them and have them learn from simple drills. I like to let them get out there and make mistakes at first and then try to correct the mistakes, let them see how it's done correctly. I think, as a player, now as a coach, focus every day to improve every day is number one. If the kids are going through the motions, not really focusing on the passing and catching and the hustling and the talk on defense, if you're not doing that stuff every day, you're not going to improve. And if we're not improving every day, then there's no sense even being out here. So I think overall, the guys have bought into it, and I think they trust me. A lot of the stuff I did as a player, I've used obviously here as well, and hopefully, the tempo and the pace of practice that we're implementing here translates better in the games, so we're more competitive for the 4 quarters.
Coach, this is Ed Lee with the Baltimore Sun. You have a young man on your roster, David Henry, who's from our area. Can you just talk about what you're expecting from him? I think he pretty much started every game last year. What do you need to see from him in terms of your defense?
David's done a great job. He's a captain for us, and he's done an excellent job mentoring some of the young guys, really working hard on his conditioning. Dave's got to stay out of the penalty box this year. We've tried to do a couple different checks, on the individual level so he can stay out of the penalty box, enough of the stick swinging, and he really hurt us last year, a couple of games, getting 3 penalties a game. So we got to keep him out of the penalty box, keep him on the field. He's our vocal leader back there. The guys trust him. He's a strong kid. He's physical. Last Patriot League game last year, he guarded Garrett Thull from Army. Did a real good job on him, and we expect great things out of him this year in leading that defense.